Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, I was not prepared to address you, so this is a broad day robbery, but I'll say a few things. Dr. Christine Wanjala, the Secretary Education, Dr. Hova Ringrose, Dr. Ann Fleiker, Dr. Helen Wan Kamthot, distinguished guests, dignitaries, our representatives from other countries, including JICA, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank you all for making yourselves available for this particular activity, which is very dear to our hearts, all of us, because as you know, and I don't need to give you much information on that because probably you all know more than I do the importance of education in general and particularly the importance of early education, the primary and secondary, because they lay the foundation for higher education. Higher education cannot be built on raw grounds unless we have good prepared, groomed children from primary education to higher education, to secondary education, then to higher. Only then can actually one expect them to do some important things for the welfare of the society. But having said that, the education, even at primary level, has its own values, its importance to the welfare of the society. We can see this all over the world, that the countries which have invested more in education have done very well. And those who have not, for one reason or another, have lagged behind. Unfortunately, we have faced several problems in Pakistan. One major problem has been access. Not enough facilities for the large number of youth of this country. The second is the retention of the students in academic institutions, and of course, equity. Many people, unfortunately, because of their poor financial conditions, would prefer to engage their children in early labor rather than sending them to academic institutions because the financial pressures and needs of a fairly large number of population in Pakistan and some other countries is such that for them an early engagement of their children in making even small amount of money is more important than in the long run going to school, because this is the perception, unfortunately. That's another thing. We have also in Pakistan have had, and our honorable secretary the other day gave me a presentation, and he was kind enough to very frankly tell me that he is not satisfied with the quality. The quality in itself is a very multidimensional phenomenon. There are many factors which are impacting quality, but one major factor, of course, is resource allocation. Unfortunately, because of various reasons, many countries in the world, including Pakistan, I'm referring now to the developing countries, many countries have not been able to allocate as much to education as they should. With 2%, 2.5% allocation, one should not expect miracles to come out of education. This is something, I am here for only a few months as a stopgap arrangement in the governance, but one of my major effort would be to convince the Pakistani authorities, the Pakistani people, powerful people who have the decision power, that education needs to be given more allocation if they really want to see their country turning into a prosperous country. We also have another problem, and that problem is of management. I think that in recent years, Pakistan government has started paying substantial attention to higher education. The universities have been getting more funds than in the past. There's no doubt about it. And in Pakistan universities, currently the salaries may be comparable to those in Iran. They are perhaps better than India. At least they were 4 or 5 years ago when I discussed with some of my friends in India in a conference. We compared, and they told me that Pakistani university faculty member salaries are more than theirs. But despite now more money in higher education and better salary for our faculty members, there still are very serious problems, and we feel that many of these problems are directly related to poor governance, very serious issue. And this is not the case only with the universities. I think that there is deficiency of good governance even at lower level. I don't know to what extent, because I'm not familiar with primary or secondary education. I have always been a university professor, and that is the area about which I know more. But coming towards closing my address, because I was not supposed to talk even this much, I would like to thank all of you, the UNICEF, the World Bank, the USAID, the PCDO, JICA, the international NGOs, the local NGOs, and all others who are contributing towards the improvement of education in our province and in fact even in Pakistan. And I also request you to please continue with this wonderful initiative, because you may be knowing that according to the recent census, Pakistan population has increased in comparison to the previous one by nearly 30 million people. We are unfortunately very fast in increasing number. And I personally think that some of you who are involved in the teaching directly should think about it. I don't want to turn it into a religious debate, because I'm not a religious scholar, but I still think that even if you take it from the point of view of religion, I think God Almighty would be happier if you have 2 good children rather than 6 idiots. The rest is up to you. I again, once again, thank you. Please, you heard our Secretary of Education. Your contribution to our province is not going waste. We have taken adequate steps, and we are in the process of taking more steps to increase participation of our population in education and to improve the quality of education. But the task is gigantic, and we would continue looking forward to your benign support and friendship. Thank you, and God bless you.